two things changed in this case this week, and neither one has gotten the attention it deserves yet. The FBI is now involved, and the young woman at the very center of this entire timeline dispute, the one whose account either confirms or destroys the story Nolan's friends told, has finally had her side of things put on the record through her own family.
We got a dead body in Mississippi. Inconsistent stories from the deceased friends. And now the FBI is on the case. Allegedly. Yeah, let's get into the story, fam. So we got FBI examining digital evidence, Nolan Ryan case. DA calls case a priority.
Yes. All right, Congresswoman, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Nolan Wells investigation. Some people feel like it's racially motivated. What do you think?
I mean, I think that specifically as Black Americans in the United States right now, we are always going to question whether or not there is a racial motivation, but also, if you know the history of Mississippi, I think that you'd have to be blind not to question potentially what is happening, especially in the case of an 18-year-old who ends up deceased.
So the homegoing celebration, the funeral will be held at Center Point Church in Ocean Springs. It is going to be, visitation will be 9 to 11, and then the funeral will start after that.
Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of The Conservative Libertarian. All right, guys, we are back with another one, man. Yes, sir. We got to talk about a situation that's been going on, that's been rocking the nation lately. It's probably not one of the biggest stories, but it's becoming one of the biggest stories, at least in the Black sphere. It's becoming one of those big stories because, you know, whenever a Black kid dies around a bunch of whites, oh, it's racism, especially if it comes from a racist state like Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana, Virginia. You know, if it comes from one of those, you know, super southern racist states that have a history of racism, yeah, Black kid goes up missing, goes kidnapped, goes, you know, ends up dead. Yeah, it's a race relation story again. You know what I'm saying? When we don't actually have any evidence to point towards racism, we just have speculation. It's I just don't want to demonize people. Like, it's insane. They want to be okay to demonize whites, but they don't want it to be the same way around when it comes to minority groups. You don't want to demonize minority groups, but you want to actively demonize white people. I don't understand that logic. You can't sit here and say that you don't want to be demonized, but then yet demonize other people. Like, we should not be demonizing anybody, right? There should be no demonization, but there is, and people love it and they eat it up, you know. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. We should be way past this. We should be way far from this. You know what I'm saying? It's 2026, man. We should be so far from this, and we're still being dragged down by these people who want to continue to see race relations go higher and higher, and it's shameful, really. But we got The View, of course, The View, talking about Nolan Wells. So let's get into it.
Speculation and mystery continues to surround the tragic death of Mississippi teen Nolan Wells. After he disappeared on a boat trip with friends, there are unverified photos and videos that have people questioning the account of Nolan's friends, like Trayston Shepard, who defended himself on ABC News. Take a look.
We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind it. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short.
So there's so much speculation about what happened. So where?
You hear what they said? You hear what they said in the background? The voice. The voice. What does the voice tell you? What does the voice tell you, Sonny? What? Oh, he doesn't sound sincere. I bet that's what they're trying to allude to, that he doesn't sound like he's sad about something. Right. Okay, we'll let that slide.
What is happening? What's going on? Where's it headed? I'm going to ask you.
I think what's very important is that Ben Crump has been retained by the family,
right,
and is conducting an independent investigation. So much so, because it's happened in Mississippi.
Yeah.
There are some racial undertones to this. He was the only black kid on an island.
There was no racial undertones until y'all made it a racial undertone. Let's be serious. You guys put that in the air. You guys put that in the air, and now it's in the air. Now, I'm not saying that people from their own independent thought process, that people in general wouldn't have thought this, right? You know what I'm saying? Me, you know, people like me and others who just like are just looking at it and just seeing it. They're like, okay, like he's a black guy with a bunch of white kids. Yeah, hey, like, you know, we don't know what happened, but like in my opinion, but there's people who see that and their eyes go red, like their entire everything about it is red. It's just like, no, this is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Fire alarm, you know what I'm saying? Type shit. Like this is bad. There's no way. There is no way that this black boy was around a bunch of white kids and he ends up missing. There's just no way. They did something to him. They did something, right? And I'm not saying they did it. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be arrests. To be honest, maybe there should be. Maybe there should be, you know, a lot of arrests, you know what I'm saying? Detaining people to make sure that, you know, their stories are lining up and stuff like that. Hey, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with investigating. You know what I'm saying? Investigations are a part of the judicial process. I believe in our judicial system, right? So I'm completely open to investigation, especially if there's nothing to hide, right? If there's nothing to hide, then you should be fine. Right? Even if you have to go through the ringer of, you know, proving that you're innocent. Hey, if you're innocent, it will show in a court of law, bro. It will show. If you have the evidence to back up that you're innocent, it will show. Right? But if there's no evidence to prove that someone's guilty, then we shouldn't be trying to put guilt onto people who haven't done nothing wrong yet, or there's no evidence of showing that anyone's done anything wrong yet, right? Let's wait for the autopsy. Let's wait for all the certain things to come out so that way we know. Once the autopsy comes out, usually that gives a pinpoint, a summary of basically what was going on in his body before he ended up, you know, dying. You know what I'm saying? Because more than likely he drowned. More than likely he ended up drowning sometime, you know what I'm saying? Because when you're in that big ass body of ocean and stuff like that, you can't swim. More than likely you're going to be drowning. I don't think that, you know what I'm saying, they bludgeoned him or hit him across the head and threw his body in the water type shit. Unless the evidence shows that that's what happened, right? But, you know what I'm saying? Until then, only thing we can go off is that he went missing. There was miscommunication on both parties, and this body washed up on shore. That's all we got. People are just taking the extreme route when it comes to the racist part, like just straight on the race part. And it's like I said, it's shameful. Sunny Hostin should be ashamed of herself.
Full of kids that were white. And
also not true. I'm pretty sure there was a black kid there as well. There was other black kids that were there too. Like, see, Sunny Hostin is talking as if she was there. I'm not going to make that claim. I'm not going to make that claim that it was all whites. There was no blacks. There was no other black people around. Oh, Sunny, she be out here speaking as if it's facts, bro. It's terrible.
And his family is saying that he would have never, on the boat rather, and his family is saying that he would have just never stayed on the island and been left behind by his friends. His family also said that this kid, Trayston Shepard, they don't know him. I think we have some sound from his parents.
We don't know Trayston. We've never met him. So to say, you know, best friend, childhood friend, that's a bit of a stretch. We've never met him. He's never been to our home. Maybe high school, you know, they started hanging out or, you know, kind of been around each other. But again, we don't know him. And not to discount anything he has said, which of course, still trying to rule those things out. But I mean, he has communicated. He did offer his condolences, which we appreciate.
So it's just so confusing because there were 3 boys with him that were good friends with him.
What are they saying?
And they turned off their social media accounts. They say that they have cooperated with the police, but they kept his phone and didn't give it to his parents.
And we're still awaiting autopsy results, and this is not currently being investigated as a homicide, but there's a lot of reason, I think, to suspect foul play, because this is, when they say he was left on an island, this isn't like Grand Cayman. This is literally like a sandbar. There's no running water. Nobody would willingly stay back without a cell phone, not knowing if they had a way to get back. And the reports were that he stayed back with a girl that he'd met and was flirting with, but she then told police that he didn't. She thought he was going back with his friends. There's all these like he said, she said, and I want to be careful of one thing because I think there's a little bit of a jump to implicate the friends he was with on the boat because they went back. We don't know anything yet, but there were also a lot of other young people on this island, a lot of other young people docked up and drinking. So there are also people we may have not heard of who potentially could have been involved if, God forbid, something wrong was done. Either way, I want peace and justice.
When the phone was found.
And that's another thing too, is like there was underage drinking, right? Nolan was 18 years old, I'm pretty sure. He was 18 or 19 years old. He wasn't legal. It's the 4th of July. You know what I'm saying? They're probably getting shit-faced it, bro. And let's be serious. A lot of these kids, parents, they don't know what they kids be doing, bro. They don't know shit. They think they're so invested into their kids' life because they go to their kids' games, they take them to school, they're with them 24/7, almost damn near. So they think they know their kids' deepest and darkest secrets. Bro, I mean, man, there were so many things that I never told my parents until this day. Now, some things, you know what I'm saying, they're not even worth, you know, like bringing up, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, I don't want to have like unnecessary problems. But like, I mean, things that, you know, I'm open to sharing and stuff like that. Or if they ever ask me a question about it, I'd be very open about it. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me the question, I'll be open. But like, if you don't ask me the questions, I'm not gonna sit here and just, you know, make tension, make the room hostile for me just because I want to be honest for one time of my life. You know what I'm saying? Especially as a teenager. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, honesty is the best policy. But I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? If you're doing some outlandish shit, bro, and you know you're not supposed to be doing that shit, man. Yeah, I mean, you can be honest if you want to. You know what I'm saying? To your own peril, you can be honest. At the end of the day, like, a lot of these kids, I don't know where their parents are at or who was, you know, supposed to be watching them or whatever. But yeah, like this is, it's all backwards. Everything about this is confusing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying, like I said, again, I'm not saying that these boys should not be held accountable because we don't know yet. And like I said, I've been on boat trips before and I've never had my phone in like anywhere near me for real when I was on boat trips. Most of the time my phone was on the boat. You know what I'm saying? I left it on the boat. If I went into the water, I left it on the boat. You know what I'm saying? The only time I ever had my phone was when I was on the boat. So if I'm not on the boat, then my phone's not on me, right? I'm just thinking, right? If you ever been on a boat, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, like, just saying.
The phone was found because the mom did the Life 360 and traced it to one of the friends' houses. The thing that shocks me is whoever parts with their phone.
Yeah.
This is
young person.
Yeah, this is a young person, and the his mom was saying that there's no Snapchat. It was more common for her son to have documented certain things. The phone wasn't in his possession, and things seemed to be gone. That off the phone. That does raise some suspicion.
And those kids said that they didn't have his phone at first. And because his mother tracked the phone through her Life 360 app, they then turned it over to someone else's, to one of her friends. Yeah. So if you come back with someone else's phone and you know that they're missing, why would you not call the parents immediately and say,
well, why didn't you call as soon as you knew he wasn't there? Because you had to have known he wasn't there because he wasn't there on the boat back.
When you went back.
When you went back. And if he's the only black kid, you know he's missing.
Yes.
And his parents also said he was athletic and a good swimmer because drowning was kind of the initial thoughts, which there are rip currents here. There even good swimmers could have run into danger, but you have to consider that
kudos
too.
to Colin Kaepernick, because Colin Kaepernick has paid for the independent autopsy, flying the body from Mississippi to Washington, D.C., so that it can be independent. And Tyler Perry is paying for his funeral.
It's
Worst nightmare.
you know, there's
Like I said, rest in peace to that boy. That should never happen to any of our youth. You know what I'm saying? And that's another reason why we got to protect our youth, regardless of social, economic situations, stuff like that. We have to make sure that we're teaching our kids to be smarter than this. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be drinking, you know what I'm saying, in a massive body of water. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, even when I was on a boat, I actively tried not to drink. You know what I'm saying? I might have sipped a couple of White Claws here and there and stuff like that, but I wasn't trying to get shit-faced drunk on a boat. I can't swim. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't swim. Me personally, I can't swim. Even though I have a life vest on, and if I were to fall into the water, I would probably be safe because I have my life vest on. You know what I'm saying? But even still, I wouldn't trust my ability to be able to get out of that type of situation if I were to fall into the water and my life vest were to slip off of me or whatever. Who knows? Like, you don't know. You just don't know. So I wouldn't put my life in my hands in a big body of water like that. Like, I just wouldn't, right? And now I'm not saying that his friends weren't irresponsible. His friends are pretty fucking stupid. If anything, these are probably the worst friends that you can have, because the fact that your friends didn't talk you out of staying on the island, right? They didn't talk you out of it. They were like, oh, hey, you can do what you want to do. Go ahead. Like, as my friend, I wouldn't consider that a friend. You know what I'm saying? And there had to have been signs before these type of situation, before the situation happened, that he had signs that these people weren't good friends to him. Maybe he was with them because of the benefit that he got from being with them. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he lives in an affluent white neighborhood. He's, you know, his parents they got money. They got a decent amount of money. You know what I'm saying? They didn't look poor. You know what I'm saying? They look like they're educated, smart people. So yeah, he has everything he could want. You know, he has friends, you know, who may not be good friends to him. And like I said, this will all come out in the details as, you know, the independent investigation happens, which Colin Kaepernick did an independent investigation on another black boy before, and we still haven't heard nothing about that. You know what I'm saying, about that situation. And I'm pretty sure that was in the same state. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just not about to just jump to conclusions. That's just not what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna demonize people. You know what I'm saying? And we should all be trying to come together to try to figure out what happened, right? Anybody who's trying to divide us in this situation is not a good person right now. Is not the person that you should be talking to when it comes to trying to figure out the situation for Nolan Wells. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below, whether or not this was L or W. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Peace.